The Inn at the End of Things is an Acorn Arts and Entertainment podcast, independently produced by a small group of creators in Southeast Michigan. Since we run the show ad-free, we rely entirely on support from listeners like you to keep the Inn's hearth fire burning through the night. You can support us and receive bonus content with a one-time donation at www.acornartsandentertainment.com/The Inn, or by joining the Hall of Patrons within our Patreon community. Even the price of a cup of coffee goes a long way to keeping the lights on for our little inn. As folktale enthusiasts instead of academics, this is your friendly reminder that our folk and fairy tales come from the older, grimmer end of the woods and can contain material not suitable for all audiences, so listener discretion is advised. And recommended for your 5-star stay with us, the Inn is best experienced somewhere cozy with a good blanket. Thanks so much for your support, and welcome. Is that you, Pilgrim? Ah, yes, come round the corner now. Don't be surprised, I knew it was you before seeing your face. Here at the Inn at the End of Things. Each person turns the handle differently and swings a door just so. You've been found out by your cadences, my dear. We can't help ourselves. We have to know just how we compare to those around us. We worry about so much, don't we? Well, I'll only tell you there is a distinct sound of your arrival that warms the heart, dear Pilgrim, and I'm glad to see you here once again. Tell me, how's your soul feeling on a quiet, calm evening? I see. You have a room here at the inn. A place that's all your own now. Just as you have a place beyond its walls. And one place, of course, streams into another. Like a river, ever flowing, ever changing, but always constant, bringing life and strength and all green things from one place into the next, just as the sea doesn't divide itself from the river. But you caught me rambling on with metaphor. I see the night has brought its early spring chill with it. Well, there's the kettle there, ready with hot water and a mug for you by the hearth. Why don't you just sit? That's right. Letting out the gentle sigh you bring your body into when you're surrounded by dear friends. A posture you take only when your soul is at home within itself. You found me at a good time. I was just mixing up a new batch of tea. We have quite the cacophony of herbs in that chest there in the corner. We've had that old thing since last summer when Iden brought it back from a long voyage abroad. 100 little jars of dried quince and shiso and pear and cardamom. All the flavors you can imagine, and then a few besides. And of course, each is more than just a flavor. They bring a memory, hung out and dried, some forgotten, and some held dear. Many are sweet, and a few are bitter, but all build strength in your body and warmth in your soul if you let them steep in the water just right. Why don't you make your own little concoction of spices? The nose always knows. Let it lead you to the perfect cup of tea. Yes? Yes. A fine blend. Entirely unique and all your own. Let's sit back and take that in. In through your nose, breathing the warmth into your nostrils, the smell of herbs floating over you, and out, releasing them back into the room. In and out, feeling the little glow of warmth and light in the center of your chest. Putting your hand gently over your heart if you'd like. Letting it grow now, getting brighter and stronger. Feeling your chest expand with each breath. Warm and light, and softly, gently exhaling. Yes, you're radiant, my dear. Breathing in the scent of good spiced tea. Giving yourself time just to be. You may stay here for a moment, breathing evenly. Or millennia. Time is different at the center of all things. But in this moment, all you need to do is breathe in and breathe out. There's something brighter in you now. I can see the starlight still shining. It's important to keep that glow about you. Which reminds me, I was meant to trim the wicks of the candles down in the cellar today. Well, how time slips by in the blink of an eye. You didn't know we had a cellar, did you? Well, we do. Most people don't go down there. Not even Kath, if she can help it. I think it's a bit dark for her. But I promise there's nothing down there that doesn't belong. Would you mind taking the trip down with me to freshen up the candles? Oh, that's kind of you. It's just this way. We have a staircase that leads all the way down, and it is quite the way down. Here we are, and down we go, one step at a time, just like how everything else in life is done. This is by far the longest staircase we have at the inn, and one of the first structures built here. That was so long ago I couldn't put a date to it. The owner of the inn wanted to make sure the basement rooms were kept safely away from the hustle and bustle of the rest of the place. So they made sure this was a nice, long path down, as your knees can tell. You can hear the whole world grow quiet with each step. Grow still. Grow silent. Just a few more steps. There we are. And a final door. Well, here we are. Most of these wine casks have been here longer than I have. They have the most enchanting aroma. Ancient grapes and vanilla oak. Maybe my favorite smell in this world. But why pick when there are so many good ones to choose from?
Keeper dear, are you down in the cellar?
Just when I thought we were safe. Yes, dear.
Are you down in the cellar?
Yes, I'm freshening up the wicks with one of our friends.
Well, hurry, it's all coming apart up here.
Is that right?
Waylon just made a mess of the kitchen floor, cedar branches dripping across the whole hearth. I just scrubbed it clean, mind you. If that man watched where he walked even half the time, he wouldn't make such a mess.
My, I better get a handle on this before it spirals out of control. More out of control. I'll be right back. Don't worry, you'll be fine by yourself down here. As I said, everything here belongs. Even shadows need a place to rest.
Is she gone? Sorry. I didn't mean to startle you. I forget that people aren't used to the darkness like I am. I'm Sitka, the keeper of the barrels, the voice in the dark. I've been given many names, but none fit quite as well as my first one, Sitka. I'd shake your hand, but I found that there's something about my face that makes others uncomfortable. It's better if I stay in the shadows. Some things are best kept secret, you know? Until the right time. And this room holds the best secrets. It's the oldest room in the inn, the very first room. Those square stones you're standing on now, they were set there on the first day. They were brought from many leagues away, across the four corners of the round world, and pressed into this earth until they became the cornerstone of this wonderful place. The first wild dream that an inn could be more than just stone and wood. These walls hold up the rest of the inn, keeping her standing tall and strong after all this time. The resilience they must have to be. The resilience we all must have to be. May I show you something? If you would like, there is a part of this room I like to show people when they first come to visit. It's not far, just down here. This is my gallery of shadows. I make all of these candles myself. I lost track after the first 1,000, but I'm sure there are easily 5 times as many. They are my little guardians in the shadows. Their flickering light brings more of my velvety friends to dance out of the corners. But the true treasure of this room is this. You can hold it if you want. It's a shadow lamp. It's a simple thing at first glance, but when you light the candle within, the carved figures take shape along the walls. A pack of wolves along here, great oak forest there, a family of buffalo running together. And watch now, when you spin the lamp, there they go, moving, changing, telling an entire story. It's amazing what light can do. And shadows? They are impossible without each other. Partners in a whirling dance. I made this lamp myself. Carved each of the characters by hand. They are some of the last memories I have of my home. Far away in the great north where I grew up. I ran with those wolves. Hunted side by side with those bears. Played with those fox cubs. I could spend hours watching them spin. Would you like to watch them for a while? Look closely, and the more details you will see. If this is where you find your rest for the night, the lamp brings sweet dreams to the mind and staves off all things of fear while it turns. It's a fine thing to watch the glow of the lamp. I'm glad you're here to see it with me. In my home, we believe every lamp has a story to go with it. Would you like to hear this lamp story? It's about an invisible being and the girl who saw him. Long ago, in the village where my mother grew up, there was a mighty hunter who was handsome, strong, kind, and completely invisible to everyone who tried to see him. All day long, he would hunt around the lake outside the village and protect the villagers from the creatures of the night. He loved his life, but he was very lonely as he longed to be seen by someone. The only one who could see him was his sister, who the villagers called the Great Sister, as she was wise beyond her years. She saw how her brother's invisibility weighed on him and asked if there was any way someone could see him. "Only if they are pure of heart and brave of soul," said the invisible one. "There is no other way?" she asked. "No," her brother said simply. For years and years, he lived alone without anyone with whom he could share his soul. Many tried, mind you. Each night, the Great Sister would walk down to the lakeshore to see her brother come home with his fresh hunt, and the girls of the tribe would accompany her. Blushing and giggling, they craned their necks, all trying to catch a glimpse of the mysterious hunter who provided so much for them. Each day, the Great Sister would ask her companions, "Do you see my brother?" And each time they would lie. "Of course we see him," they would say. "We see him right now. How handsome he is, how splendid to look at. You must introduce us to him, Great Sister, so that he may pick the most beautiful among us to be his bride." But the Great Sister knew they were lying. "Not so fast," she would say. "You see my brother, do you? And what is his bow made of?" The girls would whisper among themselves, "What should we say? For we must convince the Great Sister we can see the invisible being." "The great elm tree," they would cry out. "Red oak, hickory, They would come up with the widest lies, stretching their tall tails as long as they could, but the great sister would only sigh and shake her head. "You cannot see my brother," she would say, and turn each one of them away. Now, on the other side of the village, there lived an old man with 3 daughters. His first 2 daughters were beautiful and popular among the villagers. They had long black hair, as dark as the raven's feathers, and eyes that glistened in the sun. But the youngest daughter, she was small and weak and often ill. She was tormented by her older sisters, day and night. They would hack at her hair and burn her face with hot coals until she became scarred from her face to her feet. And the people of the village began to call her Ujigiska, the rough-faced girl. But although she was treated with much disdain, the rough-faced girl was always kind. She often hid away from the villagers, but her gentle heart found peace in the forests with the spirits of the woods. One day, the 2 elder sisters got it in their minds that they would woo the heart of the mysterious, handsome hunter who nobody in the village could see. So they put on their finest clothes, combed out their long, beautiful hair, adorned themselves with the finest shells and beads, and set out to the lake at the edge of the village to see the invisible being. When they arrived, they saw the great sister already watching her brother, and they greeted her boldly, saying, "We've come to see the invisible being." The great sister pointed to her brother across the lake and asked, "Do you see my brother?" "Well, certainly," they replied. "Now introduce us to him so that he can pick one of us to be his bride." "Not so fast," the great sister replied. "If you can see him, what is the harness of his sled made out of?" The wicked sisters looked at each other, dumbfounded. "A strip of rawhide," one of them blurted out. But the great sister knew it was another lie. She turned away from the sister, saying, "That's not what his harness is made of." "The question isn't fair," said the sisters. "He is all the way across the lake. We cannot see his sled from here." "Very well, then," said the great sister. "I'll ask you another. If you see my brother, what is his bow made out of?" Again, the sisters looked at each other, not knowing what to say. "Walnut," the other of them exclaimed. "That's not what his bow is made of," said the sister. "Now I know that neither of you can see my brother." But the sisters stomped their moccasins on the ground. "Enough with these silly questions," they shouted. "We are the most beautiful girls in the village. The invisible one is sure to choose one of us to be his wife." The great sister shook her head with a smirk. She knew well their hearts were wicked, and they could not see her brother. "Very well," she said. "Let us return to the wigwam, where you can meet him face to face." The sisters shrieked with excitement. "Now surely the invisible one will pick one of us to be his bride," they exclaimed. And so, the great sister led the girls into the wigwam of the invisible being that night and sat them down on the great rug beside the fire. Suddenly, the entrance to the wigwam was drawn open, and a great wind swept around them, swirling their hair and shaking their beautiful beads and shells. The 2 sisters were struck with terror, for the presence of the invisible being was too great to behold. They screamed and ran out of the wigwam and back to the village. You can't imagine what they were like when they came home that night. Swearing up and down the wigwam, they ranted and raved about how awful the invisible being was. How cruel. Wasn't he the worst thing that had ever happened to their lives? The worst thing that had ever happened to their village? They even began to doubt the invisible being was real at all. Maybe he was just a big joke that the great sister was playing. And why was she called the Great Sister? She wasn't so great anyway. On and on they spat their insults until their faces were puffy and red with hate, and their lungs were completely out of breath. The rough-faced girl listened to her sister's tirade patiently until they couldn't say another word and went off to bed too angry to eat their supper. Quiet and alone again, the rough-faced girl thought about everything they had said. All night, she gazed up at the stars deep in thought, and although she had never gone to the edge of the lake to meet the invisible being herself, she felt she already knew him, for she knew what it was like to be unseen, unknown, and unloved. So the next day, she went out to the woods and gathered sheets of birch bark to make a dress and leggings. Her sister never shared their clothes, and she wanted to look as nice as she could for the handsome stranger. She decorated the edge of her dress with the most delicate mosses she could find. She took fallen leaves and soaked them in the river so they could become moccasins for her trembling feet. And she dressed her hair with a few cracked wampum shells she found in the riverbed, for she had never been given any jewelry of her own. Dressed in the clothes of nature, she made her way through the village to find the invisible being. And oh, how the people laughed. They mocked her clothes and threw stones at her. "Go back home, you ugly girl," they shouted. "The invisible being will surely turn you away." But the rough-faced girl was steadfast and did not listen to their hatred. She carried on, one step at a time, until she was at the edge of the lake, where the invisible being always returned home. There, she found the Great Sister already watching for her brother. The Great Sister was surprised when she saw the rough-faced girl, but she did not laugh like the people of the village, for she could see beyond what is visible. "Welcome, little one," she said with a smile, and pointed out across the lake. "My brother comes now. Do you see him?" The rough-faced girl looked across the shore, squinting into the sunset. "I'm not sure," she said. Then her eyes lit in wonder. "Yes, I see him. But how can there be such a one?" The Great Sister looked at her with curiosity. "And what is his bow made from?" The rough-faced girl's eyes brimmed with tears at the beauty of the invisible being. "His bow is the great rainbow that arcs over the earth." Great Sister's eyes grew wide. She nodded. "And the harness of his sled?" "His harness is the Spirit's Road, the great Milky Way." The Great Sister smiled and nodded. "Ah, you do indeed see him. Let us return to the wigwam and prepare for his return." Once inside, the Great Sister washed the rough-faced girl with water she took from a special jar, and under her gentle hands the young girl's scars vanished, leaving her skin smooth and shining. Her hair also grew long and gleaming as the raven's wing. She had never been treated with such kindness in all her life, and she felt her face transform from sorrow to joy. Then, suddenly, there was a deep voice at the entrance of the wigwam. "Greetings, sister." The rough-faced girl turned and beheld a magnificent young hunter. Their eyes met, and she saw surprise light up his face. The hunter sighed with delight, his gaze still beholding the beauty of the girl before him. He was struck with wonder, for it was the first time someone other than his sister could meet his eyes. "You've been discovered at last, brother," the Great Sister said joyfully. The Invisible One took the rough-faced girl's hands and spoke to her in a gentle voice, saying, "For years, I have waited to meet someone with a pure heart and brave spirit. and that day has finally come." "I have wished the same," the rough-faced girl said. And they promised their love to each other then and there. And the rough-faced girl was given a new name. The village called her the Lovely One, for she dared to love tenderly in the face of life's cruelty. All who witnessed their love were touched with the depth of their beauty and kindness, for the two of them were hidden away no more. I see the lamp has run still now. I hope you don't mind that the room is a bit darker now. Don't worry, there's nothing fearful in these shadows. They only want to draw in a little closer to hear the ending properly. I cannot help but notice now, you have your own light within you. I recognize that ancient glow of starlight. You are indeed a far-reaching traveler, little one, and have come a long way. Remember that you will always have that light within you. There are times to hold it for yourself, to keep it as your strength, to hold your head high and know the beauty of what is within, even when the world throws stones. For there is beauty in invisible things, and everything you are and have and hold is worthy of being and worthy of sharing. You are yourself a shadow lamp, holding the light of nebulas behind your eyes. If I may, I will step a little further into the light with you now, as long as it won't frighten you. If my face is too much, you can just turn away. I won't be hurt. Hello. This is my face. This is who I am. Thank you for seeing me. And that is your face. That is who you are. It is very good to see you.
Are you still down here, Pilgrim? There you are. Ah, I see you've met Sitka. What a blessed meeting this must have been.
Yes, we have found each other among the shadows.
Did you have time for one of your tales while I was away?
Indeed we did, Keeper. My favorite of all tales.
Ah, I think I know just the one. I am so glad you were able to find each other's company this evening. There are wicks to trim, Sitka, and I've come for a fresh batch of candles to set out for tomorrow's sticks.
It is a good thing to share light and shadows with a friend who can see with more than their eyes. Thank you, my friend, for seeing me.
It's far later now, so you can stay and help me if you'd like, if you still have the energy. Or you can sit longer with the candles there. Sitka's shadow lamp wards off dreams of ill things, and it's a cozy little nook to rest in while the lamp spins and casts an ancient tale of love on the walls around you. Or wander your way back upstairs to your room. The linens are fresh with the scent of rosemary, and the hot water bottle is the perfect temperature to ease any of your aching bones. Whatever you decide, you are safe and whole, and exactly made as you are meant to be. Safely hidden and safely seen by friends who know your light and shadows, here at the Inn at the end of things. You've been listening to The Inn at the End of Things, an Acorn Arts and Entertainment production. Tonight's tale featured performances by Chris Sutton as Sitka, the voice in the dark, and Luna Alexander as Doran the cook and the keeper. Tonight's episode was written by Josie Eli Herman and Michael Allen Herman, with editing and sound design by Luna Alexander. As our evening draws to a close, we'd like to pause here within our Hall of Patrons to thank the many wanderers, voyageurs, and fellow night owls who keep our hearth fires burning long into the night. Whether you're a member of our Patreon community or have donated independently, we salute you and say thanks. We couldn't do it without your support. This week's list of hallowed heroes includes Sarah McNitt, Amanda Logston, Jason Such, Brian LeDuc, Ruth Needler, Joanna Corina Palaska, Chris Hoffman Kraske, Patricia Tuma, John Stanford, Lindsay Harris Friel, Robin Schwalanek Krenzel. A special thank you to the Plymouth Community Arts Council for their sponsorship of our first season, and a reminder to support your local arts communities. May your generosity be returned threefold wherever the road finds you. Good night.